Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 5, and this is the story of Sakshi Gopal, the activities of Sakshi Gopal. So, we were reading that from Remuna, Mahaprabhu, along with his associates, arrived at first of all at Jajipur and visited Lord Varahadev's temple, and from there they went to Kataka to visit Sakshi Gopal. And while in Sakshi Gopal temple, Nityananda Prabhu, who had visited that temple before when he had gone on pilgrimage, and he had heard about the history and the glories of Sakshi Gopal deity from the locals, the local priests there, narrated the story of Sakshi Gopal, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that pastime with great relish. Uh, he was actually very, very pleased to see the deity of Gopal, Sakshi Gopal, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he danced and sang, and he offered many prayers. And when they stayed there in the night, so at night, Nityananda Prabhu narrated the pastimes of Sakshi Gopal, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with the associates, were listening. So this is how the pastime goes, that in olden days in Vidyanagar in South India, there were two Brahmanas. One was elderly and the other one was a young Brahmana. And they went on a pilgrimage to various holy places. They went to Prayag, they went to Gaya, Banaras, Mathura. Finally, they came to Mathura. And in Mathura also, they went and bathed in the various ghats, right, like Keshi Ghat, etc. They visited the 12 forests of Raj, right? So, what are the 12 forests of Vrindavan? There is 5 forests on the eastern side and 7 on the western side. The 5 on the eastern side are Mahatala, Mahavan, uh, Mahavan, then Bhadravan, Bilvavan, and Bhandirvan, right? And then there is Lohavan. and on the western side you have Talvan, Madhuvan, then Bhandirvan, Vrindavan, Kamyavan, Kumudvan, and Khadiravan. These are the 12 forests of Vrindavan. They visited the forests of Vrindavan, and then finally they came to Sakshi Gopal, and they just were completely enchanted by the beauty of Sakshi Gopal. They stayed there for 2 to 4 days. So while they were there, the elderly Brahmana was just feeling so grateful to this young Brahmana who helped him all the while throughout the pilgrimage. And he actually expressed his gratitude to this companion, his young Brahmana companion, saying that, my dear Brahmana, you served me so nicely. I could not expect this type of service even from my sons, and I didn't even feel any fatigue, even though we walked so many hundreds of miles. Right? They went from South India to Braj and visiting all holy places on the way. So, but I didn't feel any fatigue. So I want to give you something. If I don't offer you something, if I don't reciprocate with your service, then uh, I will be kritagna. That means I will be an ingrate, right? After taking all this service from you, if I don't also make a gesture of uh, love the way you serve me, then I will be kritagna. I will be an ingrate. So I want to give you my daughter in marriage to reciprocate with your service, with your love. I would like to give my daughter to you in marriage. So when the young Brahmana heard this, he said, oh, my dear sir, what are you saying? You're saying something which is impossible, right? Why are you speaking that which is not even possible? Why are you even saying something like this? So then in the purport we read yesterday how Srila Prabhupada said that uh, Srila Prabhupada said that yeah, in in the Vedic society we see always in any society actually marriage must be done between equals. Hmm? So those who are from aristocratic family look for another aristocratic family to marry their son or daughter. They marry between equals. So, uh, what are the considerations? Aristocratic family, wealth, education. So, this young Brahmana said, you are from an aristocratic family. You are a very wealthy Brahmana and you are very learned. And I am, on the contrary, a very poor Brahman from an ordinary family and not even so learned. How can this happen like this? So that's where we stopped yesterday. Let's continue reading. Uh, Yeah, see, 18, you have rendered various types of service to me. You have assisted me in traveling to all these places of pilgrimage. Even my own son does not render such service. By your mercy, I did not become fatigued while on this tour. If I did not show you any respect, I would be ungrateful. Therefore, I promise to give you my daughter in charity. He actually said, I promise. Not that I would like to. He said, I promise. Huh? First said that, see. I promise to give you my daughter in charity. কৃতঘ্নতা হয়া তোমায় না কইল সম্মান অতএব তোমায় আমি দিব কন্যাদান. Okay, I will give, he said. So, you know, for uh, a respectable person, his word is as good as a vow because he's a Brahmin on top of that. They don't lie, right? So he said, I to reciprocate with your service, uh, I'm going to give you my daughter. So I promise to give you my daughter in charity. So what did the young Brahmana say? He replied, "My dear sir, please hear me. You are saying something very unusual. Such a thing never happens. You are a most aristocratic family man, well educated and very rich. I am not at all aristocratic, and I am without a decent education and have no wealth." Right? So there, Srila Prabhupada also talks about Kanyadan. That's where we stopped yesterday discussing about Kanyadan. That when one gives his daughter, they want to give their daughter uh, in a family that is equal in terms of their aristocracy, wealth, and education. Yeah. So now we'll continue. Text 23. कन्यादान पात्र आमी ना होइया तोमार कृष्ण प्रीत्य करी तोमार सेवा व्यवहार कन्यादान पात्र आमी ना होई tomar kanyadan acha. So this is the young brahmana speaking. He said kanyadan patra means recipient, right? So kanyadan patra ami na hoy tomar, I am not a qualified recipient of your kanyadan, right? So kanyadan, like we were discussing yesterday, is a great um, pious activity. It gives one a lot of pious credit. So, but the kanyadan also, has to be done. Any type of dan. We read in Bhagavad Gita that there are three types of, in three modes. When you give charity, and when you do yagya, when you do tapasya, all these are required, but they can also be in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. That means you have to consider the recipient, you have to consider the time, the place, so on. All these things should be considered. So, based on that, that charity can be in goodness, passion, or ignorance. That means it can give the result. The result of the charity will depend on other circumstances also. It's not just that you give a girl and then you're getting the highest result. So, this young Brahmana is saying, Kanyadana Patra Ami Na Hoi Tomar. I am not a fit recipient for your Kanyadan. You want to do this charity, you want to give this charity of Kanya, of your daughter, but I'm not a proper recipient. I'm not a proper recipient. Krishna Pritya Koritomar Seva Vyavahar. Then why did I serve you? Right? I didn't. I served you. I rendered service to you simply to please Krishna. You are a Brahmana. You are an elderly. See, dharma. We have to also always consider here dharma. Younger, those who are young must always uh, render service to the elderly. They must be always respectful. Please consider this young Brahmana is not a family member. He's not doing it out of any obligation. He's not doing this because, oh, he's my father, therefore, or nor because of any bodily connection, right? So many times we see we have, we serve elders, my elders, right? Someone else's elders, I don't have any respect for them. But they're my elders, then, oh, this dharma will immediately come into place. One should serve his father, mother, so on and so forth. But when it comes to someone else's father, mother, you don't care. You don't even look at them as, recipients of, even the basic uh, human treatment. So that's not dharma. Dharma means younger ones should always. You see, in India also you have buses. They say ladies should be given respect. This is Vedic culture, right? And amongst ladies also, when there are pregnant ladies, they are given even more respect. In fact, they should be worshipped. They should be worshipped and treated like a demigod in temple, it is said. That means extra attention, extra protection, extra care has to be given. And it's not just my wife or my family member, anyone. You will see that, or at least I used to see. I don't know what is the situation now, but If as soon as a pregnant lady gets into the bus, then immediately people will get up and give her a seat to sit. That is the etiquette. That is Vedic culture. Similarly, when there is an elderly person also, immediately you have to render them some service. Hmm? This is Vedic culture. So this young Brahmana is saying, the reason I assisted and why we follow Dharma, that is another question. Why should we follow Dharma? Dharma, by following Dharma, actually, Dharma means again Vedic Dharma, that which is given in the Vedas instructions, Vedic instructions, that Dharma. So when you follow Dharma, Atah Pumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashma Vibhagashaha Swanushtitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritosham. Okay, yes. So your particular Dharma, whatever Dharma you do, that Dharma is considered to be perfected when Hari, the Supreme Lord, is pleased by your dharma. Okay? So then why you do dharma or why should you do dharma? And also it's already said previously that dharma should not be done for artha. Generally we work for what? We work to get income, isn't it? And with that income, now we want to have a comfortable home, a comfortable lifestyle. And so that means that work is dharma, and by that dharma you'll get artha, wealth, and by that wealth you want kama, sense gratification, comfortable life, comforts. Dharma, artha, kama, and then finally when you'll get frustrated with this comfortable life because it's not making you happy anyway, then you take to moksha, path of moksha, renounce everything, right? And so these are called the four purusharthas uh, in Dharma Shastras. But actually, the real Purushartha is the Pancham Purushartha, which is Bhakti. Anyway, but there is a purpose to this Dharma. Dharma, Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest pramana about what we should do, what we should not do. So Srimad Bhagavatam says that one should not do Dharma for Artha. You should not work for the purpose of making money or getting wealth. That should not be the purpose why you work. And just think about it in today's world. Why do people work? That's the only purpose. Is there any other consideration other than maybe, okay, wealth and then maybe some recognition and a position in society, respectability, right? But that should not be the purpose. Then why should we do dharma? Actually, dharma should be done. Perfection of dharma is when by that dharma the Supreme Lord is satisfied. So you want to please the Supreme Lord. So that's why here this young Brahmana is doing this dharma. What dharma? Of serving an elderly person. That too, he is a Brahmana. He's serving a Brahmana and an elderly person. And when is he helping? He's helping him in going in his pilgrimage, going places. Actually, it is said he fell very sick at one time, this elderly Brahmana. Not just that he's assisting him wherever he's going, he actually fell very sick at one time. So they had to stop in one place for a long time. And this Brahmana, he could have just left him behind and continued on his journey. But he also stopped. And he restored him back to health. He was taking care of him, restored him back to health. And when he was strong enough to walk again, then they continued their journey. So because of this Brahmana, the elderly Brahmana felt extremely obliged and you know uh, grateful to this young Brahmana. But this young Brahmana is saying, the only reason I served you is to please the Supreme Lord, to please Krishna, right? You don't have to feel obliged that you have to give me your daughter. The only reason why I served you is to please Krishna. That's what is said in this verse. Hmm. Krishna Pritya Kori Tomar Seva Vyavahar. Krishna Pritya, for to please Krishna, only for satisfaction of Krishna. Tomar Kori Tomar Seva. I did your service, I assisted you, I served you, only to please Krishna, because this is, and on top of that, this person is going on pilgrimage and he's a devotee. Pilgrimage means they're going to places of worship of Krishna. So this is a devotee, and you're rendering service to a devotee, both as far as dharma is concerned and also Vaishnava etiquette. So by this, what is the purpose? Even when you do dharma, the purpose is to please Krishna. that is the perfection of your dharma. And even otherwise, as a devotee, whatever you do, what is the purpose? You want to please Krishna, right? So, sir, I am not a suitable bridegroom for your daughter. I render service to you only for the satisfaction of Krishna. Purport: both Brahmanas were pure Vaishnavas. That's the point here. They were actually pure Vaishnavas. Not just that they were Brahmanas, but we are discussing from that aspect also, because when we are not pure Vaishnavas yet, we must follow Dharma very strictly. We cannot just ignore dharma thinking that uh, devotional service is beyond all, you know, uh, uh, material dharmas. Actually, it is, but are we service purely? That's the question. See, Srila Prabhupada says pure. Pure is important. Pure Vaishnavas, Shuddha Bhakti, unalloyed devotional service. So these both Brahmanas were pure Vaishnavas. The younger man took special care of the older one simply to please Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 19th chapter, text 21, Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja Bhyadika. Right? It is better to render service to my devotee. Adhika. It's better than what? Better than rendering service to me, right? Rendering service to my devotee is better than rendering service to me. Krishna is saying this in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, on that principle, uh, why do you render service to Krishna then? Because you want to please Krishna. But if Krishna is more pleased by my serving his devotee, then you will do that because your motive is to please Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, it is thus according to the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is better to be a servant of God. One should not try to serve Krishna directly. A pure Vaishnava serves a servant of Krishna and identifies himself as a servant of Krishna. This is pleasing to Krishna. Okay? It is better to be a servant of the servant, not even directly, servant of the servant of Krishna. That means someone is a servant of Krishna, is a devotee, you go and become that person's servant. Assist that person in his or her service, then that is more pleasing to Krishna. One should not try to serve Krishna directly. This is another principle. And also, this is not just so many things to learn actually. You know, the Mayavad philosophy is you take help. You take help of Bhagavatam, you take help of devotional service even, chanting the holy names, worshipping the deity with the whole idea of one day you become that God. You go and merge into him and you become God. And once you become God, you don't need to worship, you don't need to serve, it's all over. This is Mayavad philosophy. It's not at all pleasing to Krishna. This is actually a very low mentality. Something like you take the help of a ladder to get on top of the wall, right? If the ladder were not there, you would never be able to get on top of the wall. But once you get on top, you kick the ladder because now you don't need it. And there's another famous saying that, you know, when you cross the river, right? You use a boat to cross the river. You know, those round boats, right? Where you just row and go. They're made with, I think, some uh,
Leaves.
huh?
Leaves,
Palm
no?
tree, yeah, palm tree leaves or something like that. They just make like that. So once you cross the river, you just set fire to that boat and go away. Because now you don't need it, and I guess because you don't want anyone to, I don't know. They just set fire to that boat and then they go away. Like that, you use something. After using it, then it has no value. You're so impersonal. Can we do that with devotees? Can we do that with sometimes when we come with that type of, because we are coming from the material world, material conditionings, we have that mentality. Use something and after using throw, like use and throw, right? All these things that we now, everything is use and throw, plastic and paper and everything. Use and you just throw. So that mentality goes on with two people also. use people and then throw them. I finished whatever I need. I got from this person. Now just, you know, there's no need. So, can we do that with Vaishnavas, with the spiritual master? If we do that, we can never please Krishna. So, Krishna culture is just the opposite. Even a little service, that anyone gives us, offers us, which helps us to progress in Krishna consciousness, a Vaishnava is always very, very grateful for that service, right? And actually, that is a sign when you feel this gratitude in your heart, that is the sign that you're actually progressing in bhakti. Gratitude is essential. So, uh, that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying here, that it's better to be a servant of Krishna, right? Serve those who are serving Krishna. And so my point was, okay, now I will serve a servant of Krishna until I become a pure devotee, until I get liberated. But once I get liberated, I want to be with Krishna, right? It's just Krishna and me. I'm serving Krishna. Krishna is, loving me, and just me and Krishna. Is that the attitude of a devotee? No, no. Their desire is eternally. Eternally means even after we get liberated, even if by Krishna's mercy, by the mercy of our spiritual masters, even if we go back to Godhead, we want to remain in the same position of assisting our superiors, our spiritual masters in their service. This is a chain. I want to serve my guru is serving his guru, he's serving his guru, like that. Even in Krishna Lila, you have this hierarchy. There's, immediate circle around Radha Krishna, you have the Ashtasakhis, then around them you have the next circle of the Manjaris who are assisting, and then they have their assistants. And the whole purpose is how to unite Radha and Krishna for their enjoyment. We just want to be servants. We need to get this into our consciousness very clearly. Bhakti means servant. Bhakti means not enjoyer. We are not enjoyers. We want to be, of course, right now we are in our state of mind, our consciousness is we are the enjoyers. We want to be the enjoyers. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't come here. We wouldn't be here in this material world. The whole purpose we are here is because we want to be the enjoyers. Enjoyers separate from Krishna. But the more we are in this consciousness of I am a servant, right? And servant of who? Not servant of Maya, not servant of my family members or my relatives or my country and this. No. Sarvadharman parityaja. I am a servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis. So that is our position. That means even when this is a training period for us. When we go to Krishna, whatever we have been trained, we will act accordingly. So we are always servants, and not just servants directly of Krishna, servants of the servants of the servants of the servants of Krishna. And when we actually come to this consciousness, that's when it's very pleasing to Krishna. All the gopis are always busy assisting in bringing Radha Krishna together, but Srimati Radharani, she's also in the same mood. she's actually the direct, the feminine form of the absolute truth, and her expansions are the gopis. Everything is meant for Krishna's enjoyment. So she pushes forward others. She unites others also with Krishna directly, Krishna's service. But the gopis, others are not thinking like, I should be in Radharani's position, or I should be Yashodamai's position. Not like that. They don't think like that. So, servant of the servant, that's important, always. And the more we come to that consciousness, we can understand, oh, we are moving forward. And the more we still expect and demand that I should be recognized, I should be first, I should be, the important one, then that means I'm still in the, like, I want to be the enjoyer. I have long ways to go still, like that. Okay. So, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is better to be a servant of the servant of God. One should not try to serve Krishna directly. A pure Vaishnava serves a servant of Krishna and identifies himself as a servant of Krishna. Right? I'm a servant of the servant of Krishna. What is your identity? I'm a disciple of my spiritual master. That's it. So when you go to the spiritual world also, they say, may I see your pass? And your pass is, I am a servant of my spiritual master, who is a servant of Srila Prabhupada. Oh, yes, we recognize. You can come inside. Like that. Ah. So, uh, this is our identity, always. Servant of the servant of Krishna. This is pleasing to Lord Krishna. Srila Narottam Das Thakur confirms this philosophy. Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Peche Keva. By giving up service to Vaishnavas, who has ever been delivered? Unless one serves a liberated Vaishnava, he cannot attain liberation by directly serving Krishna. He must serve the servant of Krishna. So that is why we have Guru Puja every day. Guru Puja, of course, we have so many artis for Krishna throughout the day that it's not that stop this and do that. Actually, parallel, both have to go on parallel. But this is very important. Guru Puja means worshipping a liberated soul who is a servant of Krishna. Without that, nobody has ever been liberated. With that, I'll stop today. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.